Russia and Europe seem to be edging towards a bigger war, a bitter war, a war that threatens to engulf the entire European continent. And time for NATO seems to be running out. First, have a look at these visuals. These are from today itself. While Donald Trump delivered sermons and issued warnings from New York, Russia seems to be quietly capturing more and more territory from Ukraine. The entire eastern front of Ukraine is crumbling faster than the American president can get his European allies to prepare against the Russian threat. But will that be enough? That's a question only the NATO can answer. Already, Baltic nations are fortifying their defenses against alleged Russian drone threats. And today itself, Russia has said that they have captured a large part of the northeastern Ukrainian city of Kupiansk. Already, Russia controls nearly 20% of Ukrainian territory, 20% nearly. And they plan to advance much deeper into the Kharkiv region. Europe is watching in horror, biding their time in a way, wondering if they are next. From the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, countries bordering Russia, Belarus, Ukraine are dealing with the spillover from the Russia-Ukraine war. Staring at the brink, it seems, of a wider and more intense war between Russia and the NATO. Across different parts of the continent, preparation for the potential conflict seems to be underway. Estonia has started expanding fortifications on its border with Russia. Authorities there are constructing fences, anti-tank barriers, and underground bunkers. Officials say these steps are necessary to guard against potential escalation. And the preparation goes far beyond Estonia, by the way. In Germany, its armed forces are planning on how to treat as many as 1,000 injured troops per day should a large-scale conflict between NATO and Russia break out. The German armed forces are closely monitoring the Russia-Ukraine war and incorporating lessons that can help them constantly adapt their medical training. Listen to this.
Können wir unseren Frieden nur
Given the ongoing acute threat situation, we can only maintain our peace through credible deterrence. Credible deterrence requires readiness. I just mentioned that readiness requires equipment, personnel, training, and proper practice.
Richtig. Üben, üben, üben.
And in bordering Poland, the country is working towards training every adult male for war. While Norway, that shares a nearly 200-kilometer border with Russia, is looking to restore old military bunkers and has made it mandatory for all new buildings to include bomb shelters. Tensions between Russia and the NATO continuing to simmer. Just earlier today, Spain's defense minister's plane suffered GPS interference while flying over Russian territory. And over the past few weeks, there have been a series of Russian incursions into NATO airspace, including when nearly 20 Russian drones entered Polish airspace, an incident that Estonia said revealed dangerous gaps in NATO's air defenses.
When we talk about the lower altitude detection capabilities, then definitely all the NATO countries have gaps there. We've seen that also in the Polish incident. Most of the drones were not detected, and this is a real gap we have to solve.
Defense ministers from NATO's eastern flank are expected to meet this Friday to discuss a joint plan for a so-called drone wall along the bloc's border with Russia and Belarus, a drone wall. Political leaders are reinforcing the need for readiness. Finland's president, meanwhile, has said that security guarantees for Ukraine require readiness to fight Russia, adding that the NATO must maintain a credible deterrence. In a post on social media, US President Donald Trump said he believes Ukraine, with the support of the European Union and the NATO, can win back all of the territory Russia has taken since the war started. The Kremlin has now rejected those claims. Officials in Moscow insisted Ukraine cannot win back lost ground, dismissing Western optimism as misguided and defending the war as strategic rather than aimless. And with Russia gaining more ground in Ukraine and NATO reinforcing its preparations for a wider conflict, it seems the question for Europe is not whether the tensions will persist, but whether they are actually prepared for the battle. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.